Moving into the NFC North, we have the Chicago Bears at 8.5 wins with one of the easiest strength of schedule at 0.467. Chicago opens up against Tennessee, then they got Houston, Indianapolis, the Rams, Carolina, Jacksonville, then a bye. Washington, Arizona, New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Fran, Minnesota, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay. So I don't know if they're going to be, I think they are liable to be a 7 seed this year. Like, I think that is kind of what their goal should be. And I think they can get to 9 wins. So I'm going to go over 8.5. They got to 7 last year, and they much improved their team. They improved on their coaches as well. So give me the over for the Chicago Bears. I think it is probably one of the easier overs to me personally. I think adding 2 wins based off what they've added in the offseason makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like, I'll be honest with you again, just because after what the Bears did to me last year, when I
Yeah, I know.
I always don't want to get my hopes up too much. But again, Bears fans know if they've been listening, how high I'm on Caleb. It will not waver. And for that reason alone, along with a lot of the young, you guys, I think, brought in good talent in the draft, albeit it wasn't a lot of it. But I love everybody that you guys drafted. I think you guys made a lot of perfect moves on the coaching staff for what you guys are trying to do. So with all that combined, I am going to say I do think it would be about the ceiling. Again, just no matter how good Caleb is, it's very hard learning to win in the NFL is not easy, right? Like, it's just not. Like, no matter how good Caleb is, it's not going to be this. Some Bears fans are over here like thinking that you guys are about to be a 13. It's just not. That's not how things work. It's just not. And if it is, and Caleb really is just that talented, well, then I'm just going to be doing backflips on camera because then I really just predicted it perfectly. But no matter how amazing he is this rookie year, I don't think that I see him getting past 9 or 10 wins. But is it possible? Do I lean towards that possibility? Yeah. So I'm going to rock with you on this one, bro, and we're going to go over together on the Bears.
I think this is the most fair thing to say about the Bears. If you want to be optimistic and think the team is a lot better than a 9-win team, I would say the best way to look at the Bears is they have a lot of young and new people on the team, and they need time to develop. While they may only win 9 to 10 games, if they get rolling at the end of the season like the Packers, I'm not saying they're going to go as far as the Packers went, but it is a reality of, okay, they can get hot at the right time. They are one of those teams that with a lower record could do better off in the playoffs than what you would expect from like getting a 12-win I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, I'm following what you're saying.
So moving over to the Detroit Lions, they have a over-under of 10.5 with a strength of schedule at 5.09. If we're looking at Detroit's schedule, they open up at Seattle, then they got Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, the Jets, Las Vegas, the Chargers, New Orleans, Carolina, Baltimore, KC, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Cleveland. They get a bye in Week 14. Indy, the Chargers, Cincinnati, and I just read Denver's schedule. My apologies. Detroit opens up against the Rams. I
literally did the same thing at first.
Bro. Detroit opens up against the Rams, then they have Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle, then a bye. Dallas, Minnesota, Tennessee, Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Chicago, Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, San Francisco, Minnesota. What are you thinking here?
I'm going to tell you this, and you let me know what you're thinking. I just think, especially after the way things ended last year, it's all that they've been thinking about is like, wow, we were literally like malpractice away from very potentially being the Super Bowl champions and bringing home that first Lombardi to Detroit. Like, I think they're going to be on a mission this year, especially with Dan Campbell leading the ship. Like, I see no way that they're not pissed off enough to go win 11 games as long as 2 things. The core of the team stays healthy, and B, Jared Goff doesn't get complacent that he's now the second richest quarterback in the league. But if those 2 things can align together and Jared Goff doesn't get complacent, again, I just see no way the Lions are not going to be pissed off enough to go win at least 11 games. Lions Nation, I'm on the restore the roar train again. Even though I guess it's been restored now. But I'm going restored. Yeah, it's been restored now. I'm going with I'm rocking with the Lions, though. Yeah, I'm going to rock it that they can get to 11.
Yeah, I'm going to go to 11-2. I think, or over 10.5. I think they can definitely get to 11 wins. And like you said, they improved their team this year. They didn't really lose any coaches. And they filled in where they need to fill in. So I don't know how much more explanation there is than they improved all over the field. They really should have been in the Super Bowl last year, and the Detroit Lions are going to be contenders year after year now. It's kind of weird to say, you know?
It is very weird to say. And it's just like side note, because I've been thinking about this ever since the Jared Goff got the extension. What are they doing? Like, what's the plan with Hendon Hooker now? It's just off topic, but like, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, that's just something to monitor because, just maybe someone's going to, I don't know, maybe Hendon Hooker's on another team sometime soon because that was, I know initially the plan was kind of like, well, if Jared Goff doesn't work out and then we'll have Hendon, but all of a sudden, Hendon Hooker doesn't want to sit on the bench for another 4 or 5 years. That's just what I was thinking recently, off topic, but something to monitor going forward as well.
The last time the Lions had 12 wins outside of last year, 1991.
That is
long
wild.
Time ago.
Yeah, the war has been restored.
Green Bay Packers over under 10.5. They have one of the hardest strengths of schedules. I promise I'll read the right one this time. They open up against Philly in a foreign country. Then you have Indy, Tennessee, Miami, or Minnesota. The Rams, Arizona, Houston, Jacksonville, Detroit. They get a bye. Then they play Chicago, San Fran, Miami, Detroit, Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, Chicago. Personally, I'm going to go over. I think the Packers did nothing but get better this offseason. And as much as it pains me to say it, Jordan Love could potentially be that guy. So, again, I honestly think the NFC North is one of the most young and exciting divisions in football. If Jordan Love grows, their draft picks pan out, Matt LaFleur is Matt LaFleur. Like, I don't understand how they don't get to 11 wins this year.
Oh, no, and you basically took every single word out of my mouth. The only thing I even want to add to that, because you covered everything, the only thing I want to add is this. Like, Jordan Love has grown rapport with nothing besides, at this point, the same receiving core that he showed that he could gel with, as young as they were last year, a whole nother offseason together. And on top of that, I just want to add, Jordan Love, if you're talking about guys to potentially throw a long shot bet on to win an MVP, right? Like, I know we'll get to this topic eventually. This would be a year where, like, if Jordan Love just balls ballistic and you look at the record and they're like close to the top of the NFC, and you look at the talent on that team versus everyone else that has, potential MVP quarterback, this could really be a year Jordan Love could come and steal an MVP away. So I'm with you 100%. I think this is just a pedigree more than anything. Like, we know the Packers, we know the pedigree, we know LaFleur's pedigree. Yeah, I think I would be foolish not to say that I'd lean that they're going to be an 11-win plus team. But I could also very well see them being in that 9-10 range and having to kind of get hot towards the end of the year again. But I'm with you that I think it's going to be an ascension versus a stagnation.
As much as you say that, and I hate it, I can see it 100%. I could definitely see Jordan Love winning an MVP next year. Moving into the Minnesota Vikings, we have 6.5 for the over and under with a .502 strength of schedule. Minnesota opens up against the Giants. Then they have San Fran, Houston, Green Bay, the Jets, a bye. Then they have Detroit, the Rams, Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona, Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle, Green Bay, Detroit. Ooh-wee. That is, in my opinion, a lot tougher than the strength of schedule makes it seem. And at first, when I was eyeing that 6.5, I was like, nah. They're definitely going to get 7. But after looking at who they play, I don't know. I think I'm going to go under here.
See, this is one where it's like, I'm with you, where it's like, but you know what, though? It's kind of like with the Giants. It's like when I was like, it's hard to go against with Dable because he's shown he has the stuff. But even when your coach has the stuff, if the roster doesn't have the stuff, sometimes you can only work with so much. And because I've been hearing reports now that they have a plan for McCarthy to start the beginning of the year if everything goes perfect. But that scares the shit out of me as somebody that's been truthing J.J. McCarthy, because as I've said, I don't really care what the fuck the plan is. I don't think throwing him in this year should be a part of the plan at all. I'll be on record saying it. I've been on record saying it. If he gets thrown into the fire, I think there's even a lower chance that they get over 7. But if it's Sam Darnold, we know we have it Sam Darnold. It's kind of the same concept where it's like, is Sam Darnold going to get this crew? And that's a really tough schedule. Yeah, could Kevin O'Connell find a way to get these boys over the 7 win, around that hump for sure. But I'm gonna logically lean with you that yeah, I'm just gonna stick with what I know. What I know is that it's gonna be really tough for them to win 7 games with that schedule and with their quarterback situation.